Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 1st to the 15th, 2021 money and career reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Sagittarius, September 1st to the 15th, 2021 Sagittarius, money and career. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Ooh, goodness. These three. Okay. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. All right. Now at the bottom is our root itself. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Empress, so we're creating something. We have the Fool, and we have the Lovers. Now Lovers also represents Gemini energy. So if we have Gemini energy within our natal chart, that's going to be coming through very powerfully as a rooting energy, as a rooting force for us, Sagittarius. Then we have the Empress once again. I love that. The Hermit, which is Virgo energy. If we have this within our natal chart, that's coming through very strongly in our personal side of ourselves. And then we have Temperance, which is us, Sagittarius, coming through in the major arcana. We have all major arcana cards within our inner self, which is profoundly powerful. We have them, yes, all at our root, but at our root, we're only using a major arcana deck. So this right here, our inner selves, our inner voice, our inner guidance is going to be really spot on. Then we have the Page of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, amplifying the Virgo energy in our inner self, but also telling us that if we have Earth sign energy within our natal chart, that comes through very powerfully within our hearts. There's also going to be a need for security. We have the Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. If we're born on the cusp with Scorpio, if we have water sign energy within our chart, this is coming through very powerfully in our hearts as the warrior. And then it leads us to our public self. We have the Ten of Pentacles, prosperity that lasts for generations, and the Seven of Wands, knowing when to fight and when not to. That's going to be one of the things that helps us propel ourselves forward in prosperity. So let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Sagittarius needs to be mindful of? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is the Princess of Cups. This is people using emotional manipulation in order to get what they want. This is also somebody emotionally very needy, very kind of drama-filled, acts without thinking, that sort of thing. And we're going to really like people during this time who show their emotions. We're going to think, yes, at least you're open, at least you're honest with me, at least I can see where you're coming from. I really respect that. During this time, this isn't going to be what we need. We don't need somebody else adding their emotional drama onto our everyday lives. So just be really mindful about it. It can also make us feel really important, really special that this person is confiding in us. What we don't understand is that they're confiding in everybody. They're showing a little bit of truth to this person, a little bit of truth to that person in order to get themselves where they want to be. So really do be mindful of that. A lot of people will think that they know this person, but if you talked about the person that each of you knew and you would think, oh, I know this person really well, you would know a different person. You wouldn't be like, oh, wow, it's the same exact person we're talking about. No, this is somebody who very much tailors their truth to the person that they're talking to. They will believe everything that they're saying. It's not that they're lying necessarily. It's that they're tailoring it to each person. Let's look at our chakra energy for this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Holistic health, which is one of my absolute favorite cards. Now, this is the root chakra, and this is saying that at our root, we have to look at our holistic health, our holistic well-being, our authentic selves, a sense of this is me, this is what's right for me, this is what's wrong for me, I'm owning it, openly and honestly, this is what makes my body feel good, and this is what makes my body feel terrible. So during this time when we're embracing our root chakra, we're also looking at what is important for me to have the best overall health, to keep my body in tip-top shape. Well, maybe not tip-top shape, but working nicely and comfortably and smoothly. What is it that I need to be mindful of? And what is it that I'm doing? It can be for money, for work, that is going against who I am. And by this, what Spirit is saying is also like, what is it, like, what am I not saying because the person is paying the bills? What is it that I'm not being authentically who I need to be because I feel like I owe somebody else something, or because I feel like, I just need to, suck it up and bear it in order to move forward. No, this is a time where we say, but this is who I am, and this is my worth, and this is what's intrinsically important to me. If we have chronic pain, chronic illness, this is a time where we start to look at that pain, that illness, in a different light. Not something that will always be dragging us down, but something that we need to find a way to heal it within ourselves, kindly and compassionately. Now, if this is inoperable, that's a different story. But what Spirit is saying here is like getting back to looking at what the body needs, not what everybody else tells us the body needs in order to be healthy, in order to be powerful. It's saying, okay, what do I need to do? And one of these things that I've been really interested in and looking into recently is the barefoot shoe movement, which I know happened a while ago. I'm just late to trends. I don't really follow them at all. But a commercial came on YouTube, and he was talking about your feet shouldn't be comfortable, in your shoes, because that atrophies everything. And I was having such foot pain, and I was thinking, if I have this much pain now, what's going to happen as I age? And so taking away everything that everybody says you need, I just started to walk around barefoot, learned a different way of walking, which is like rolling in on your heel and rolling in like this instead of smacking down, rolling in on the side of your foot like this instead of smacking down on the heel and coming in. It's really helped my flat feet, and it's actually really helped with headaches and shoulder pain and even jaw pain. So it's looking at things more naturally. It's looking at things more in alignment for ourselves, even if it sounds ridiculous. Because if you said that, I would think, oh, okay, that's ridiculous. That's a little tantrum you went off on, Dane. It doesn't have anything to do with me. But it's like, how am I walking myself forward? How am I progressing myself to my success? And the way that I walk forward to my success is going to be different now because I'm in alignment with my body than it was before. So how do I get to be in alignment with myself, to move myself towards success and power and prosperity, and to bring forward what I want into the world? That's going to be a real thing for us, Sagittarius. How do I move forward to what I want in my world, in my power? How do I create this? Now, the Empress here, she's pregnant. So for some of us, it's giving birth. It's, new life coming in. But for a lot of us, this is creative ideas and, inspirations that have been within us. And it's like, okay, I'm giving this a voice. And this is a voice that other people don't have because it's my voice. It's my way of seeing things. It's my, embracing of ideas that opens up the door, that guides me forward, that leads me to something I didn't think I could embrace, I could be a part of, because I thought this was for everybody else, but not for me. And now we're going to see that this is absolutely for us. This success, this power, this prosperity, this abundance, this throne, this empress, this is us. We're embracing the sacred feminine. We're moving forward in our power. We're finding that power, that path forward, and it brings us to the Fool. It brings us to this place of why not? Why not jump? Why not go after the dream? Why not, have the crazy idea? Why not see where this takes me? Why not say, well, that makes sense, and see what happens because of it? Not worrying what everybody else thinks, not worrying what everybody else says, but saying, why not? Why not go after it and see what happens? And so the Fool comes into play and tells us that to be the hero of our story, to be the person who conquers, and moves forward and embraces their destiny, we have to be foolish. We have to make mistakes. It's kind of like learning a new language. You don't pick it up instantaneously as much as we would love to, but you stumble and you make your mistakes and it's not coming out clearly and you get frustrated and angry and overwhelmed. And then you find that balance, like things start to click together. You start to hear the rhythm of it. And that's what we start to do with ourselves. We start to hear the rhythm of Spirit's voice. We start to hear the rhythm of our soul's desire. We start to, follow deeply this spiritual, powerful path. And it leads us to the lovers. It leads us to this place of loving life again. It leads us to this place of being inspired, of knowing that there are multiple different roads that a person could walk down and embrace that bring us to better prosperity, better abundance, and a more authentic happiness. This is a time where we start to say, why not? Instead of why. Instead of prove it to me. Instead of, push this all out in exactly the way that I need it to be. But it's saying here, how do I move forward towards what I love? And how is it that I embrace the differences within the world without falling into anger? Without falling into frustration, because that's so much of what our world is now, anger and frustration, and it has to be just like this. No, let us embrace differences of ideas. Let us embrace different inspirations, different ideas, because that's Sagittarius, what we're all about. It moves us to us, temperance. And it's interesting because Gemini and Sagittarius, we're sister signs. And so here, when we come together, it's like we see our sister, who sometimes we get along with beautifully and sometimes we can't stand. But that's what sisters do. And so we're embracing balance. We're embracing greater understanding. We're embracing insight, ideas, passion, brilliance. And that's what's moving us towards us. In our inner self, we stand true. Do we see us, or do we think, no, that's not right. No, I've got this wrong. It's so interesting. So often I see people who have this abundant confidence. They think, I'm just going to do it. And you look at them and you think, you are. But I don't know why. Because you don't have the talent of the person standing next to you who could do it, with a lot more skill. But because the person has the tenacity, has, the chutzpah, they just go for it and they think they will succeed. And 9 out of 10 times, these people do. And so here, it's finding that balance. It's finding that balance between cockiness and pride of self and, belief and determination. And it's saying, this is how I move forward. This is what I want for my life. This is who I am. And it balances us. Absolutely. It brings us to the Hermit and it says, look inward. During this time for success in money, for success in career, it's like, look inward and see who you are. Don't try to make yourself what everybody else wants to be, what everybody else is. Don't try and put on the mask and live in this masquerade of the world. Say, this is me. This is what I want. This is where I'm headed. This is what I'm doing. This is how I embrace myself and my desires. And I let my passionate illumination guide me forward. I let me fall into alignment with me. Transformation, a shedding away of a skin, of a doubt, of kind of coming out of this cocoon and saying, but this is what I want. This is what I need. This is who I am. It brings us to the Empress. It brings us to claiming our throne, claiming the power and the magic of our voice, not letting other people damn us because they don't know the full story, not letting other people write our story at all, but saying, this is me, this is what I want, this is what I need, and this is what I desire. And as I open up this door, I open up my passion, I open up my purpose, I open up the place that I stand and the reason why I stand here. And as we do this for ourselves here, Sagittarius, it moves us to being students of our prosperity within our heart. It's like, what do I need to be successful? And sometimes it's the bigger house and the fancier car. That's great. If that's what you need to be successful, that's awesome. But there's an old Nordic saying that I absolutely adore. And it says, better to be a king in a cottage than a servant in a castle. And it's almost like nowadays we think better to be the servant in the castle than the king of the cottage. Better be a servant to the mortgage, a servant to, debt collectors and bills to be paid, than to live in a smaller, quieter world where everybody isn't looking at us. And we're happy. We're happy because we're focusing on what we want from life, not what everybody else is demanding. And it might not be keeping up with the Kardashians, and it might not be, Hermes bags all the time. But it's happiness, it's contentment, and it's purposeful power. And that's what we're becoming a student of here. We're becoming a student of where we want to be, how we want to move forward in our lives, what we desire from ourselves, what we desire from others. What is financial success? Is it, making X amount of dollars a year? Is it being able to pay our bills on time and live quietly and comfortably? What is it that we desire? And it then brings us to being the warrior of our heart, as we're the student of our pocketbooks, as we're a student of, okay, I need this much money to survive and this much money to be happy, and this is what I want for my life. We then become the warriors of, this is my heart, this is my soul, this is myself, this is my passion, this is my inspiration, this is me drinking deeply of what inspires me, and this is me moving forward to what I love, what I want, and where I need to be. And as we embrace being warriors of our hearts, but also as we embrace our hearts being warriors, our hearts being determined and insightful and fierce, we start to see ourselves more boldly and more honestly. We start to see our hearts with more clarity, instead of thinking, oh, well, this is just, my heart being silly, or this is just my heart wanting what it wants, and the heart wants what it wants, but it doesn't ever serve me well. It's like, yes, it does. Because sometimes when the heart wants what it wants, and we are led down a path that has us in situations where we're like, wow, if I only would have stepped back and thought about this, things would have been different. But we do this with careers all the time. It's like, this is what people will think if I have this job. This person really thinks I'm special, so I'm going to follow them, And so we get ourselves in these sticky situations because we're listening to everybody else. And our heart says, stop. What do you need? What do you want? Who are you? And how can you move that heart forward? And it sounds odd to talk about the heart when we talk about money and when we talk about careers. But when your heart is in something, and it doesn't mean that it has to be your dream job. You could be working a job that you don't really like, but you're like, listen, it pays the bills. It, puts food on the table. It gets things done. I have my thing on the side that I adore, and that's what I need. That becomes a game changer because your energy vibration raises. And you're not defined by what you do, by your work. You're defined by who you are and what you do with your life, not what you do as a job. So often we say, oh, hi, we introduce ourselves to each other. Oh, what do you do? Kind of like, who are you? But we want to know their job. We want to know where they live. We want to kind of line everything up socioeconomically. Does that tell us anything about that person? No, it tells us nothing about that person, except maybe their relationship with money. And maybe not even that, because they could come from a really intensely, financially impoverished background, and they're just trying to run away from their own shadow. Plenty of people do that. It moves us here to our public arena, the Ten of Pentacles. This is wealth that lasts for generations. This is prosperity and success and happiness and joy and bounty. The Ten of Pentacles comes into play and brings wealth and abundance, brings bounty and power. And when we talk about wealth that lasts for generations, it doesn't mean inheritance after inheritance after inheritance. What it means is that we're teaching the next generation, whether it be our own offspring or the people that we've raised or not, we're bringing them a higher energy vibration. We're bringing them this place of power and purpose, this place of self-love and self-understanding. And that brings a richness that money can never buy. We're talking here about generational blessings, not generational curses. Generational curses, they're all well and good. And people talk about them all the time. We talk about them a lot. And it's when we just think, no, like, it's having a bad relationship with money. It's remembering that your parents always fought about money. It's, remembering the time that in the middle of winter where they almost turned off the electricity, everything like that. And it's devastating. But here it's turning to a place of wealth. It's turning to the place of, well, my mother sacrificed so that I had warm clothing, warm shoes. I was able to have this and this because of love, because of commitment, because of, coming together. And those are blessings. Those are blessings that people don't count because it isn't part of the inheritance tax. We have to start changing what we see. We change our minds, we change our lives here as we turn into ourselves, as we connect with ourselves and we find our balance. And what we're going to do through this is find a blessing, find this cord of blessing, even if it's just the smallest little cord from when we were 5 years old that brings us this blessing. And we're going to start playing that chord every single day. It's kind of like practicing with a musical instrument every single day, getting slowly and steadily better until we become masters at it, until it becomes something beautiful. And that's what our prosperity, that's what our wealth is going to be during this time. We're slowly and steadily playing towards our blessings, playing towards the reason why we're here on this earth, playing towards what we desire and want from our lives. And that starts to call in the money. That starts to call in the success. That starts to put us on the path that our hearts truly need. And it brings us to the Seven of Wands. It's like, okay, pick your battles wisely. This is not a time to fight every single battle, to fight every single idiot who doesn't understand. This is a time to reserve our energy, conserve our energy, and say, I will fight when it's needed. I will move forward in this tenacity and this understanding when it's needed. But I reserve my energy for what I love, for what needs my patience, for what needs my attention. Instead of coming to my home life, instead of coming to my loved ones, burnt out, wrung dry, and just frayed at the edges. That is going to be so important to us during this time because it's with our career. It's like, don't fight everybody. Step back and say, okay, what do I want? Where do I want to be? What is it that I desire? And then choose your battles wisely, because then when you have your battles, people listen. But when you have your battles, you have that reserve of energy. You're not part of the office politics. You're not part of everybody's pettiness. And then you step into the powerful understanding of who you are, what you want, and that starts to propel you forward and forward and forward because people see you here, Sagittarius, as blessed. You might not see yourself there yet, and that's really okay because this is the evolution. This is the beginning. And then we know when to fight and when to say, not worth my time or my effort. Kind of like, not my monkey, not my circus type of thing. I'm not going to get involved with what does not involve me or what can work itself out. It brings us then to the subconscious energy we have to be mindful of, and that's the Prince of Pentacles. That's being caught up with only moving forward in one specific direction, one specific way. This is what success is. It looks like this. It wears these shoes. It has this clothing. And if I'm not this, then I will never be successful. It's like, why? When I was little, I would see the people get off the train from work. And you could always tell what the people did kind of from the way that they dressed. And, adults don't necessarily have uniforms. They kind of do. But I always thought it was so funny because you would have a uniform as a kid, but they wouldn't. And yet you could tell. And this is saying here, why not be the executive that wears rainbow socks and, funky jackets? Why not be somebody who is powerful, but not part of the mold? And we're going to be really drawn in by the mold because it's like, well, that's how you do it. And it's like, no, it's not. That's how it's done right now. And that's maybe how it has been done. But why does it have to be how it will always be done? It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is angels and masters. This is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. This is that our angels, divinity, spirit is protecting us, guiding us. Use that protection, use that guidance to move forward, to embrace your tenacity, to know what it is that you desire, Sagittarius. Our subconscious rooted energy is the star. Our wishes, our dreams, our hopes, they lead us forward, profoundly, openly, and honestly. They're bringing us to the next level, and that next level is everything. It brings us to our subconscious inner self. which is the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is bickering, it's chaos, it's office gossip, it's everybody picking a side in a team and saying, this is what I'm for, this is what I want. It's our own inner self in conflict. I want this, but I also want this, and I need to move forward this way, but this is what success looks like, and we need to stop. We need to turn inward and say, what is the passion? What is the prosperity that guides me? And how do I move forward within it? It moves us to our subconscious emotional energy, and that's the star coming through again. Blessings, prosperity, success, abundance. What we have wished for. Not the I cross my fingers wish for, but what our soul longs for. When we're really open and honest with ourselves, when we've had enough of everybody's, BS, and we say, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is who I am. And that comes out truthfully and powerfully. That comes out and shines brilliantly. It moves us then to knowing that divinity is on our side. The universe is listening and watching and guiding, and it brings us to our inner self. Not our inner self, our public arena self. And that's the devil. Capricorn energy. Now, if we're born on the cusp with Capricorn, okay, this is going to come through very, very strongly. We're very much in tune with the earth when it comes to the public arena. But we're also very much in tune to our addictions, our escapisms that aren't building us. They're knocking us down. The devil is, how do we escape? Or how do we demand control over something that isn't controllable? When we have this escapism control, it can lead to drugs, it can lead to alcohol, those type of things. But it can also lead to, I only eat these certain foods at this certain time, doing this certain thing. I only, work out like this, and it has to be just like this. We're inserting control and rigidity. Where if we look at the devil, and we look at the devil taking away our modern incarnation of the devil, it's ancient pagan chaos gods, nature gods. Chaos gods because nature cannot be controlled. If you cut down the trees grow again. If you take down the vines grow back. And so it's saying here, let a little bit of the chaos in. Not so much that it becomes overwhelming and it's like you're embracing Bacchus, but it's that we get to embrace beauty and just that little bit of, it can't be controlled. It can't be controlled, and why? Why try to control it? It's kind of like being like a little kid. Every single hour of every single day does not need to be regimented out. Let's see what happens, just by embracing a bit of chaos and letting that chaos become beautiful, not hurtful or harmful. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we follow our own path, and as we embrace a wealth that has been waiting for us to take it. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius.